Disclosure, God's Way. Archangel Michael, the love of Jamis flames, with a downward and one upward, both in alignment with their higher selves. This is how this message is manifesting. With these movements of light comes a message of great importance on disclosure and what is attracting happening. It has been pointed out many times that is part of the ascension process because awakening to full consciousness involves a release of the darkness that was created to keep humanity ignorant of its potential. Disclosure will take place by divine order and as a manifestation of the divine will. The revelation about all the truths that have been deleted will have place. Nothing can stop it. It is necessary for the creation of the new Gaia, and any postponement or attempted, by the dark forces to introduce the planned changes will be tolerated. The powers that controlled the world, and are now being dissolved, suppressed truths and also made it through a falsification of all knowledge and even history. The chaos and turmoil that are part of the policy frameworks of events are the latest attempts by the beast dying, attacking with retaliation and revenge, after centuries and millennia, during which tyrants in control constantly rewrote the story to keep them in ignorance of their potential. For your connection to the divine presence is all you need to build the paradise of a golden age that has been a utopia for millions of years. In His infinite mercy, the Almighty has forged a plan, but there was a right time for it to manifest, and even there the souls of mankind were held in bondage cycles that took them on a downward path to deeper levels of the third dimension. Pastors, however, came in search of the lost sheep, including those who had reincarnated on Earth Maldek. During this time and for millennia, only a few were able to ascend to the higher dimensions after death. The karma, which had to be balanced, was too big until Saint Germain obtained a waiver for this to be possible with a refund of only 51% only. Now you know what a paradise on physicality upon a higher level of vibration, or dimension, is the goal of the divine will. The work of these souls that rose in power in its reconstruction of civilization they had known before the destruction of their world, and maintain their influence from the astral plane, where they were released after the cataclysms of Atlantis, is being undone in battle psyche. A war is underway as a result of the attack of the dark forces of the light bearers in each nation. The dark forces have created scenarios to create wars, and they are still trying to stir up conflicts, but are failing. I would like to reaffirm that the dissemination process is underway, and it is inevitable because humanity is being affected by a magnificent concentration of light radiation that the Earth and the solar system are going through an area of space that is full of photonic light. Disclosure is a great wave of light that will cause major changes worldwide. There is a separation of action, as has been described above, and disclosure with all its revelations and knowledge restoration is taking place in all fields, including those that have an impact on the conditions that cause misery and poverty in humanity. There are aspects of technology, better health, and the existence of human beings in the solar system and galaxies. The ascension process means that eventually, everyone will have an inner teacher, and there is no room for skepticism, as a result of development of certain psychic abilities, including the telepathic communication. The Earth and its inhabitants are being irradiated by a stream of light particles, electromagnetic energy and gamma rays. No adverse effects of this because of the technology that is being used to disseminate and distribute this light on the human psyche through many channels. The technology is advanced and alien. It has been provided by beings that you are beginning to be familiar. They were called bluebirds. They work in cooperation with the Federation of Galactic Light and Ashtar Command, the Great White Brotherhood Air Division, as they were defined. This fraternity is the spiritual hierarchy of the solar system. The Galactic Federation and Intergalactic is an organization that was founded more than 4.5 million years ago. Within their councils they are represented many nations, and as the nation's Sirius constellation, the Earth and the solar system are now connected. They oversee the ascension process, and you are in your care. Archangels and ascended masters work in cooperation with these councils of heaven or higher dimensions, and in unison they follow the guidelines of the goals that are always manifest the divine will. They do appear in the material world as a plane descending like a picture of the heavenly realms. In the ascension process the psyche of humanity is being shaped according to the image, and changes will also occur at the DNA level. Archangels are the emissaries of the concepts and ways of thinking and a way of being or consciousness that is born in the material universe. Since March 20, 2016, Earth has navigated through a region of space that is highly potent in light. You have experienced the highest peak in its receiving streams of light. Particles from the solar system entered the photon belt in 1996. Have you heard of the previous phase that allowed a first wave of souls penetrate the void, this barrier or gap, keeping secure higher dimensions? They have experienced higher vibrations while their physical bodies are now anchored on the fifth dimension, but in physicality. This journey began on September 28, 2015. Their physical bodies have been constantly changed over the decades. Some DNA modifications have been performed on them for many years and decades, but the procedures have been intensified recently. There are also changes that are the result of the movement in this direction of the body of light or the Christ consciousness. This is also the celestial equivalent of himself that remained in the sky when incarnate. It is the reason why an awakening is taking place. There is a downward movement of the spirit to mankind and an upward movement of the soul in the meeting of desire and an aspiration for change in the manifestation of a golden age. The angelic kingdom is working on the transformation of its physical structure to make it more suited to the ultimate goal of a higher form of physicality that everyone can achieve in a time that is not too far in the future when sickness and death not will have place. Its molecular structure has been converted to crystalline and work to convert it from a carbon-based structure is not yet complete. This 90% complete for some of the souls that are categorized as wave I, and less for others. You are able to elevate in meditation, with the help of the tools provided in all ages by the ascended masters and archangels, to greater heights in the scale of consciousness. You are able to vibrate, raise the level of its frequency of vibration and resonate in response to the influx of spiritual energy, love, and particles of light photonics. You are literally being immersed in the earth is going through this RN space. It is a dense layer of light. You are anchored on the fifth dimension and join the souls of the second wave of 20 March, and are already beginning to plot your route on the ascension path to the sixth dimension. There will be a third peak energy at the end of the year when a third group of souls to go to achieve the same thing. They will benefit from the knowledge gained by the first two waves, due to the interconnection of being, and will be already changed and prepared for this change over the coming months. What also have been preparing them is the resulting gradual transformation. Disclosure of the first two souls waves operate in a realm of conscious awareness and are influencing the media and the political scene. The forces that are working behind these outdoor scenes are tremendously powerful. They are also due to the solar system's position in what has been called the galactic alignment. There are several forces that influence the psyche of mankind, and some are astrological nature. Millions of galactic beings are assisting the ascension process with its technology. The angelic kingdom and the ascended masters are sweeping the earth with its rays and the forces at their disposal. Lightworkers also contribute as they provide a much-needed entry with their requests for dispensation and interventions. Now the work is still related to the Dai's articulation of the souls of humanity that still need to go through the awakening process. They are still in captivity of the forces of darkness and need to be freed from the shackles of their own creation. It is an exorcism, somehow being held together with overcoming the dark powers that control the world, and they have suppressed the truth. The gods operate, however, in a way that releases them from this captive without violence. They are being changed by a dismantling of its negativity, except when this is impossible. Our circles and swords of blue flame, mine and the mighty Astrea and Hercules, for example, are smart beams that transform the human psyche. However, qualities and virtues appear where there is the will and devotion. The magnetization of the light occurs naturally, the way you live your life and make your choices, and at the moment of the ascension, this process is being enabled and accelerated. If a human being has dark magnetized, or say, if this being is made up of darkness instead of light to pass through the gap, if this darkness is removed, and there is enough light within the soul, this being cannot survive, you cannot pass. It corresponds to the karma that must be balanced to achieve ascension. This is one reason that the solar system did not penetrate the Stargate to be transported to the place designated as a Sirius constellation system at an earlier date than was expected. I said it was because of a certain technology that we were able to enter this Stargate on September 28, 2015. This was expected to be possible in December 2012 but was postponed in the hope that more Putisim souls be prepared, and this process now occurring in 3 stages or waves. Disclosure begun and is seeping into the mainstream media. Everything is in place for this. Progress is as fireworks for years to come because the Pandora's box being opened is so deep. Its meaning has to be explored and analyzed, and many issues addressed. Many changes are on the horizon, my dear, because this event is of such magnitude that no words powerful enough to convey the wonders that this new era will bring. The great prophecy of Archangel Michael that I am, is very close to completion. I am with you always. When you regain full consciousness, you will be able to appreciate what it means. Peace will be eternal. Christine, we are very grateful for this great perspective of what is happening. Archangel Michael, thank you.